Hello everyone, my name is Professor Gant, and this is the video to give you an orientation of how to navigate through Blackboard, as well as teach you about what Pearson's MyMathLab is and how that is integrated into our course as well. This course is originally being recorded for Calculus 1 students, but the setup that I have here for Blackboard and the general things for the MyMathLab portion of this will also apply for Calculus 2 and Calculus 3 students, as well as pre-calculus students as well. So if you're in one of those courses that you have from me, you're probably seeing this same video as well. So the first thing, of course, is to log into Blackboard. The easiest way that I know to get to it is just go to harpercollege.edu and then click here on the far right and just go directly into Blackboard. I am assuming that everyone knows how to log into Blackboard and you know your credentials. So what I'm just going to do is pause the video, go ahead and enter my login credentials in, and then after that go into the actual Blackboard area and show you the course. All right, so once you are logged into Blackboard, this is kind of what it should look like if you're on the landing page. Our course here is going to be Math 200. Again, if you're watching this for another course that I teach, your course will look different, but for the most part, this is where you will go to actually access the course. So here you see that the first thing that we have is the announcements. So the landing page in this course is the announcements area. One of the first things that you need to do once you are in the course is to actually look at any announcements that I've posted here. Okay, so the main announcement that I have here is just the welcome announcement for the course, and that gives you basic information about the course. There's more specific information in the syllabus as well as in course materials. The main thing that I want to stress here is that for any course that I'm teaching, you do not need a physical textbook to take the course. I'm going to be using Pearson's MyMathLab for all courses that I teach here at Harper College. So just know that what I'm telling you, even if you're not in a Calculus 1 course, is also going to apply. Okay. So after that, you'll need to go do syllabus and schedule, and you'll see that I'll have syllabus here as well as a post of the actual course calendar. And so for every course that I'll teach, it will be set up like this as well. So you'll see what's in the course, what's due, and when. The due dates I have here. Of course, the syllabus quiz is not going to be in our course, so this will be eliminated. But you'll see that the due dates are here. Okay. For the homeworks, even though I have the due dates there, it is also going to be open. And I say that because I want you to be able to go in and do your homework over and over again to improve your grade if you didn't get 100% on it the first time. So although I have these due dates here, they will be open for you to actually go in again. On your test, though, let's say, for instance, like test 1 for this Calculus 1 course, this will be the day that you take the test, okay? And it will be the only day that it will be open. So there'll be a time window on that day that you'll have to take the test, and that will be it, okay? So test, you cannot do over, but of course, homework you can, okay? All right, so once you've viewed this information here and you've actually gone in and you've read the syllabus, then the next thing that you want to do is go to your course materials. And of course, course materials, this gives you the document to how to register into MyMathLab. And so in general, for our course, since this course uses MyMathLab and textbooks that uses this technology here, and our course is synced with MyMathLab in this course. Once you do this setup, you'll never really have to go directly to MyMathLab to access the assignments. There'll be a few places where you can actually access those assignments in Blackboard, and I'm going to show you those places during this video. So This particular form here will just give you the basic instructions on how to register into MyMathLab with it being synced into this course. For those of you that want to actually buy a physical textbook, this is the information for it. But again, for all of my courses, you only need a what's called a standalone access code. And the reason for that is so you'll have an electronic textbook that's actually in the course, and so you'll see that as well once we kind of get going and we get into the MyMathLab portion of this course. Okay. All right. So once we go into MyMathLab here, this is the area, and this will look a little different for you, but this will be the area where you can actually access all the MyMathLab assignments. Okay. In the initial setup, you're going to see something that looks a little different. And what I'm going to do is jump down to the learning modules here, which is where the bulk of your work is in this course, so that you can see instruction on how that's going to look and what the setup is going to be like. So in learning modules, this is where you will go to basically do the work in the course. Okay. So you'll start off here in the Start Here folder. And so in the Start Here folder, I have these module activities, and this is basically a welcome from me. Your statement of understanding, you will see this also in your syllabus on the very last few pages. And so this is just a contract between you and me, basically saying that, hey, you understand everything that's going on in this course. Nothing will be a surprise. And of course, you'll need to fill this out and upload it. And if you click on this particular link here, you'll see that you have the ability to upload this particular contract. So fill it out, make sure that it's in electronic form. I'll prefer it to be in either a Word file or a PDF file for this, and then just upload it. Okay. Of course, exploring your Blackboard course shell. This is kind of what I'm doing now for you on this video. Of course, we've already seen the announcements, syllabus schedule, and we've seen the course materials in the MyMathLab area. I'll come back to faculty information towards the end and round off there. But right now we're working with the learning modules area, and in particularly the very first things that we need to do in this course. Okay. All right. So we are in the modules activity area for the Start Here. And so if we want to kind of get back to where we were, we can just use these thumbnails here. And so this gets us back to this folder. If I want to get back to learning modules, I can just click here. For week 1, these 2 folders are normally what you're going to do regardless of the dates here. So in week 1, you see that there's an overview of what you're going to cover, the activities that you need to do, and of course the portion of the course calendar that we're covering. So you see that your, even though it's not going to be here, your syllabus quiz, that's going to be eliminated. But your statement of understanding, here, your introduction DB post, and this would be discussion board 0, and your first homework assignment. Okay, so those are all the things that are actually due. So your instructor resources, this is very important because these are all the resources that I am personally providing for you in this course. So all the videos I've recorded and all the corresponding notes that goes along with them to give you my perspective on this particular topic or this or concepts in this course, I've recorded here. So how this works is that I'll have the YouTube link for the video I've prepared, and these are the corresponding notes that goes along with them. Okay, and of course I had 2 different versions of these set of notes here, so I've done both versions here, and I've also provided solutions. They're still the same thing, it's just 2 different views. For this set of notes and for this Cal 1 course, I have section 2.1, 2.2, and part of 2.4. I've combined all of those into one set of notes, and these are all the videos that I've recorded for that. So you have it by topic. If you follow along in the notes here, let's say if you go to this link here where I'm having the class notes that are blank, you'll see that these are actually the notes I'm recording a video off of, and I go through all of these topics here. Okay. And so that's, if you want instruction from me, that's where you would actually get it. Okay. Now, the modules and module activities and assignments, this is where you will go to say, all right, well, this is what I need to do for this particular week. Okay. And so you'll see here that you have another link for your statement of understanding. You have a link for the first DB assignment, which is DB0, getting to know you. And of course, your Unit 1, the discussion board. And for our course, Calculus 1, the discussion boards will be used as a test review. Okay. So I'm giving you this link here, but you won't need to have to do this until later, but I've just put it in there for you anyway, just to know that, hey, it's coming up. Okay. All right. So here you'll see that this is a link to MyMathLab, and of course this is optional, not something that you have to do, but I'm going to go ahead and click on it anyway. You see that this is all of the media or resources that you have available that is in MyMathLab for you to use. So this is a link to your textbook, example videos here. Can you see the film strip? The light here means that you have some animation going on. And again, more examples, textbook info. Okay, so this is a link to the textbook for section 2.1, 2.2. Of course, other than the ones with these light bulbs, the rest of these are going to be example videos. Okay. Now, if you were to just click OK here, then what you would get is the assignment page in MyMathLab. And so from there, you can actually come here and click on your homework assignment and do it. Okay. So this is one way you could do it. The other way, if you don't want to click on this and you're just using my videos for your instruction, then you can come here and this will go directly to your homework assignment. Okay. And so I'm going to click on a question just to kind of show you how this looks. So let's say we have to work on this particular question here. Okay. And in looking at it, you say, all right, well, I'm reading this. I don't necessarily understand everything that's going on with this particular question. How could I get some help? Okay. So provided that you've already, read through the notes, watched videos or whatnot, you still need some help. MyMathLab has some options for you. One here is called Help Me Solve This. And what Help Me Solve This will do, and I'll actually click on it, is it'll actually go through the process here of talking you through this particular problem. Okay. And of course, you see how it's asking you to plug in information here. I'm just going to plug in anything, even though it's going to mark me wrong. I'm just doing it just to kind of get through so you can see how it works. So it'll give you a few options to try to get the answer right. If you don't get it right, then of course it'll fill in what it is, which is here, and then it'll move on. Okay. Now, one thing I want you to notice here is that as we started this process, notice that there's a red X right here. And what that means is that MyMathLab is saying, hey, technically because you asked for help on this particular problem, we're marking this particular question wrong, but we're going to give you the opportunity to work one that's similar to it once you're done going through this process here. Okay. So I want you to note that because this problem is going to change once we're done going through this process here. Okay. Now, of course, if we continue on, they ask us to, put in more information. And again, I'm just going to type in anything so I can get it wrong. So you can see how it kind of helps you get through this process here. And then once you're done with that, again, I'll just type in anything. You see that we get the final answer there, and we're done. So it takes you through this process, lets you know, hey, this is what the answer is. And as soon as we click close, you see that our problem changed. Okay. So very similar problem, but again, the numbers in the function have changed. And so the only way that you're going to get credit for this question is for you to actually go in and actually do a question on your own without any help. Okay. Now, if you don't want to go through all that, another option for you is to do view an example. If you do view an example, what this does is it will give you a static version of an example similar to, not exactly the same, but similar to the problem that you're dealing with. And so here, all you have to do is just kind of, click, and it will kind of guide you through this problem from beginning to end. So if you keep on clicking, you'll have a little bit more to read. And I'm just going to kind of click through it here. And then once you're done reading it, then of course you'll notice here that your problem won't change. Okay. Now, one of the things I like to tell students whenever they are in a course like this that uses MyMathLab, I'm very careful to say I want you to use these help aids, but I don't want you to abuse these help aids. Okay. The way that you abuse these help aids is to not look at the lecture videos that I've prepared or the lecture videos or example videos in MyMathLab. You're not reading the textbook. The only thing that you're doing is you're going to the homework and you're like, hey, I don't know how to do that problem. I'm going to do view an example and help me solve this to get through all of it. Okay. If you do that, you will get to the homework. You will probably make a high score on your homework, but you will not be prepared to take your exams. Okay. And so what you're doing is you're learning patterns instead of concepts. And so because of that, that's a case where you're actually abusing the help aids. Okay. You're just using them to kind of get through the process to get some points versus actually learning the material. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're using the help aids properly. In my personal opinion, the way that I would use these help aids is if I didn't understand what was going on here, I would probably do view an example versus help me solve this. And when I do this, I would look at just enough to kind of get me through the first step. So let's say here it says, hey, average rate of change looks like this. And maybe I click one more and say, all right, well, this is my interval. This is what I got to plug in. After this point, I would cut this off, and then I would try to work the rest of the problem on my own. Okay. And of course, the thing is you want to make as many mistakes as fast as you can, because the faster you start making mistakes, the faster you can stop making them. Okay. So your goal on these homework problems is to fail faster. And I know that sounds crazy, but you do want to fail faster, because the faster you start failing, the faster you can stop. Okay. So, that's how you can get through these homework questions. Now, if you also noticed here, you have a link to the textbook here. And this is a good link, but also there are some things that are bad with you accessing the textbook in a homework problem. Okay. The main thing here is that since this is a problem from section 2.1, your textbook link here will only allow you to access textbook pages that are in section 2.1. So for instance, if you see here, I'm clicking through section 2.1 in my textbook here, and this is going to end on page, it should be page, I think 61 or 62. And so if you notice here, this is the end, and notice that's page 59, this is page 60, 61. Yeah, so this is the last page here. 61, I can't go beyond that. I don't have a little arrow like how it is over here to go to the next page. So if you're wanting to access assignments, well, not assignments, but access sections other than section 2.1, the homework area is not a good place to actually go in and access that. Okay. A better area would be to go to the multimedia library area of your course. And I'm going to show you where that is here in just a second. Okay. All right. So as far as the questions are concerned, this is all that we need to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and come out of this and just click that off. And so each section is pretty much set up the same way here. We go back to learning modules. And let's say we go to week 2 activities, kind of the same thing. So we got overview of what we were doing, what's due. Of course, I have links, notes, and here modules and activities, kind of the same thing. Okay. And so that is pretty much the setup for it. Okay. Now, if we wanted to, let's say, view grades or access the actual textbook in our course, of course, one way that we could do it here is I could just go to, let's say, a homework assignment here, and let's say I don't really want to do that for right now. And then, of course, you'll get to here. Okay. Now, the bad thing about here is that if you do it this way, you're not getting to what you want to get to. Okay. So the best way to do this, if you know that you want to access things other than assignments in particular, is if you go to MyMathLab, and then you could go to MyLab Mastering Course Home. So this kind of gets you on the landing page in MyMathLab. So if you come here, then of course you can kind of see everything. If you wanted to access your assignments for the course, here's everything listed here. Okay. If you wanted to, for instance, look at your grades from homework or an exam, or if you wanted to, let's say, review an exam, like this practice exam here, you'll be able to review. Or if you wanted to go back and review an actual test, once I'm done grading everything and I release the option for you to be able to look at it, you could go here to your grade book and do that. And notice here how I have this homework 1 assignment that I accessed, and there's a link here to review. I can actually click on that and look at my problems. Okay. So, and anything that you do here, you'll see not only what the assignment is, you'll see how much time you spent, what's your current score, the date you started, the date you finished. You know, could also be date and time. If you want to access the media or resources for this course, you would go to Multimedia Library. And let's say, for instance, if I wanted to look at that section 2.1 again, I'll just go to chapter 2, section 2.1, click on the textbook, and let's say I wanted to look at the videos as well. Do Find Now, and you see I have links to all those videos. And of course, accessing the textbook here will allow me to be able to access it with ease. And so the thing that's different here is that if I access a textbook here, I will be able to get past the section 2.1 here. Okay. So you see here how this was the last page, section 2.1, how I'm able to move on, look at the exercise problems in section 2.1, and then of course move on to section 2.2 as well. Okay. I think section 2.2 starts here. Okay. So that's the difference in between accessing the textbook, the multimedia library area, versus inside of a homework problem. Okay. Of course, you could access the textbook here as well, but I find it easier to get to what I need to get to right here. But I will show this. So if you want to access it this way, you can. And what it'll do is just bring you to the very first page. Okay. Of course, you can come here to Contents and access whatever. Let's say if we want to go to section 2.1 again, we can do this. But again, the bad thing about this is that you're just accessing the textbook. The good thing is that, of course, if that's all you want to access, then you get to that and there's nothing else you need to worry about. I personally prefer the multimedia library area because I like to look at various resources, and this kind of gives you a place where you can have access to all of them at once. Okay. All right, so that is all that I wanted to talk about as far as the MyMathLab portion of this course. I'm going to go ahead and get out of that right now. So some of these other things that I want to refer to here. So let me just go into week 3 for a second. So of course you can see how we have concept quiz, homework, and this is just a link to all the resources that are in that multimedia library area. I just made it an assignment out of it. You don't have to click on that if you want. But things like your concept quizzes, discussion boards that you've seen, I'll also have quick links to those assignments here. If you don't want to go through the whole learning modules area to get there, you can just come here. Part of the reason for that is that these are all assignments that you are going to have to write down, work on paper, scan, or somehow take a picture of it and form it into a PDF file and then upload it. And so this is a quick way for you to be able to upload these assignments here without you having to kind of go through the learning modules to do it. Okay. Your discussion boards, I got a quick link there as well for all these. And again, for your Unit 1 discussion board and all the subsequent ones that follow after that, these are going to be test reviews. So these will actually be due on the day before you actually take your exam. Okay. So whatever date your exam is set on, just know that your discussion boards will be due the day before. Okay. For this written work submissions. So here, whenever you take an exam in MyMathLab, I also want to see your corresponding written work. And so these are the areas where you can come in and actually upload that written work. Again, I need to have your written work as a single PDF file. So that means all your pages need to be compiled into one single file that is PDF format, because that's the easiest format for me to grade, give you feedback on, and get it back to you. I do not accept any other file formats other than let's say PDF and Word. I can deal with Word, but I prefer PDF. If it's not one of those other two, I don't accept it. And that's not good if you are submitting in written form that is not in one of these two forms here, because I'm not going to accept it. It's not going to be counted for you. Okay. So make sure you have it in that form. Other than that, that is pretty much it for this course. And again, most of the course that I teach will be set up very similar to this one. So it's pretty much same thing for all of them. The last two things I wanted to talk about is the faculty information as well as Blackboard Collaborate. So for faculty info, you'll see that it has my email here. It has my mobile number here. And I encourage you, if you have questions or you need to get at me urgently or whatnot, you can call or text me. I'm there. For this particular semester that I'm recording these videos in, my office hours are on Tuesdays and Sundays. Of course, for subsequent semesters, that may be different. So please make sure that you check that out. The very last thing I want to talk about is office hours. And so I will be holding the office hours that I mentioned just previously here in Blackboard Collaborate. Okay. And so how I will do it is I'll have a recurring office hours session. And of course, all you would have to do is just click on this. And if you haven't used Blackboard Collaborate before, you're going to have to download some software or whatnot to be able to use it. But once you use it, it's kind of like any other video conferencing type of software, like Zoom. It kind of works the same exact way. Okay, so nothing major there. Like once you kind of get into it and click it, you'll see what's going on there. Okay. All right. So with that being said, this pretty much wraps up the orientation for this course and how everything works and the flow of this course. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.